Cresting the top of a stone stairway, a shrine drawn straight out of my imagination appeared before us. It had worn down a bit through the years, but the fallen leaves had been swept up, giving it a tidy feeling. This here is the Fruit Shrine. It's probably the place with the best view around. This place, be sure to remember it. On our next break, a festival will be held here. Isn't it a bit too early in the season for a festival? Though Higurashi isn't a summer festival, long ago, it used to be a celebration at the end of winter. I was embarrassed for assuming that festivals had to be held in the summer. Now then, spread out the lunchboxes, and there. Various coloured lunchboxes were placed, one after another, on top of the plastic sheet. It sure did smell delicious. It was Rena's home cooking. It went without saying that it would be delicious. But is it even possible to finish all this? Hey, Mion. It'll take more than just a good view to get all this down, you know. Good afternoon. It was Rika and Satoko. Why are they here? Mion grinned over at me. I see. This was a secret plan. To power in numbers. You have my thanks, Mion. Following up when all the pieces are in place is my speciality. We just had to come since there was such a commotion. What's the meaning of this? Take a look. It's time for lunch. Buffet style. A handmade gourmet meal by Rena. I can see that much. Why have you laid out a trap on our property? The temple is public ground. It's not yours. Keiichi is right. This is everyone's property. Wow, Rika is such a good girl. Have a seat. Eat with us. After opening up a spot for Rika-chan, I promptly turned my back on Satoko. Hold on 1 second. Where is my spot? No spot for you and nothing for you to eat. Don't worry, there's some for you too. None, I'll eat all of hers. I will not allow that. Rika! Here, chopsticks. Both Satoko and I leapt at the boxes, having it out with one another. Man, really? Kei-chan, you're really good at leading people on. You might have a talent for this. Have a plate, one for me-chan and one for Rika-chan too. Rena whipped out pairs of chopsticks and paper plates. If we don't hurry, it'll all be eaten up. That's right. Okay, shall we commence this battle? Please eat a lot. There's enough for everyone, Rena said as she opened up a thermos. Just then, I realized that this lunch was made under the assumption that 5 people would be eating. It didn't change how much there was, but the implication behind it was different. I will not allow you to have this hamburger. Perk. Using your elbows against the rules, Sadako. Grabbing the back of my collar is also against the rules. It was a tough battle, blocking her with full momentum and an elbow in the opening moves. Satoko appeared to have the upper hand, but the difference in our proficiency with chopstick proved to be fatal and gave me the upper hand. The last meatball. Satoko Hojo has been bested. No. Satoko and I amiably began choking at the same time, falling backwards and spasming. Rika-chan patted me on the head to clear it, even though it was actually stuck in my throat. Seeing that made Runner blush and breathe heavily in excitement. It was almost like flowers were floating all around her. Mion advised Rena to refrain from saying anything that could get her locked up. This is how our meals usually go. I do anything in my power, just so things could stay like this. The intense battle calmed, and finally everyone reached a point where they could begin talking. Receiving tea from the thermos, I let out a small sigh. I do wonder why there are so few words in Japanese to praise how something tastes. Isn't it because the idea of togetherness during a meal didn't begin until the modern era? It seems that long ago people ate in silence. It must have made the people preparing food a bit sad, don't you think? It's probably because back then the people were busy even while eating and didn't have the time to complement the flavor. That's just you. But you know, just hearing that it's good makes me happy. That my effort was worth it, I mean. She blushed a little as she said that. It was delicious. With absolutely perfect timing, Rika struck Rena directly with praise. She looked straight at her with an expression of bewitching innocence. Huh? After Rena uttered an unintelligible noise, a ring of smoke rose from her head with an audible poof. Rika-chan, I'm gonna take you home. No, I mean, thank you, Rika. It was really delicious. Rena flushed red with excitement, embracing Rika and rubbing her cheek against her, so hard you could almost hear it. To reward Rika-chan for her praise, ta-da! These are special. 2 apple rabbits. After sticking toothpicks into them, she thrust them towards Rika-chan. After Rika accepted them, the mood suddenly shifted in a bizarre way. What is it, Satoko? What's with that defiant look? Has everyone prepared proper praise to receive apples from Rena-san? Don't push yourself. What kind of praise can you think up with your weak vocab? Oh, well then, allow me to show you. After Satoko flashed Mion and me a defiant look, she changed the tone of her voice suddenly. Hey, so, Rena Oni-chan's lunch? Satoko thought it was yummy too. Satoko looked up at her poutily while talking cutesy. Well, how was that praise? That's not even persuasion by tears. That's persuasion by cuteness, isn't it? This is a Rena limited special skill. She blushed and her head spun, waving around in circles. Don't fall for it, Rena. How? Of course, that was asking for the impossible. Rena glommed Satoko and began rubbing her cheek against her. Cute! Satoko is so cute. Take you home. Swish. Stab. Push. Satoko was also presented with apple rabbits. After stuffing them into her mouth, she looked over at me and me again with that defiant gaze. It took only 5 seconds to take down Rena. That's unfair, to think she had such a trick. If it upsets you so much, why not reward Rena-san with some praise? Damn it. That was a dirty trick. First of all, that wasn't even praise. Satoko? You think you've won with that, don't you? How about I show you guys something much better than your superficial gimmicks? That sounds great, Mion. What kind of trick is it? Kei-chan is going to be the one who does it. What? Ho ho ho. Why don't I have you show me then? the rhythm of an old maid. The plan of attack she suggested was wicked. But it was the only thing we had to beat Satoko. After sipping my tea, I started talking. Very naturally and calmly. Perfectly. It really is good, isn't it? This is all freshly made, right? No. Actually, most of it was frozen stuff. Then which ones did you make fresh? Well... It's embarrassing. Do I really have to say? Must I? From the synergy of boy plus handmade lunchbox, her expression had melted into euphoria. I already know. This one, right? Huh? Rena turned an even deeper shade of red, with the words, "I can't believe it," practically written on her face. How can you tell? How? That I made it. Of course, Mion had told me beforehand. It's been perfect so far. After acting like I was shy, I waited a beat. Next would be the finisher. It had your smell. Silence enveloped the area. Rena, face still completely red, froze solid. With a small yelp, Satoko also blushed. Of course I did too. I sure would like to try one of Rena's handmade apple rabbits. Or something. Even if this was all because I was competing against Satoko. I felt like I had crossed the line by a good 9 yards, I think. Then, at that moment, boosh. It was a Tupperware container filled with rabbits. Please eat some, Keiichi-kun. There's plenty for you. Instantly, dozens of the apples were shoved in my mouth, knocking me over. Okay. Say, Keiichi-kun? My head was forcibly laid upon her lap, and even more apples were shoved into my mouth. While she was squealing, one apple after another was forced into my mouth. More and more apples. How about them apples, Satoko? Looks like we win. Kei-chan, that was a beautiful sacrifice. How's that, Satoko? This is our complete victory, isn't it? I can't believe it. Such trickery. It doesn't bother me at all. Satoko ground her teeth, mortified. We did it. I claimed victory as my conscience drifted slowly away from me. At that time, Rena stopped her squealing as she suddenly realized something. Rika-chan, you're not eating it. Did the salt water make it too strong, maybe? Maybe? Looking over, Rika-chan had pulled the toothpick out of the apple rabbit, placing it into her cupped hands, and seemed to be at a loss for what to do. Poor Mr. Rabbit, I feel sorry for him. I want to save him. Whee! That was the sound of blood spurting from Rena's nose. Cute, cute! Tonight I will take you home. She shook sporadically, her head wobbling back and forth. Then, coming back to her senses, she took all the apples around me, gathered them up with a whip, 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 and fixed them back up to one plate. Now they're all just fine, okay? Here, I'll give them to you, Rika-chan. Okay? Rika raised up Satoko's hand like a referee after having that plate of rabbits shoved to her. She whispered, "This is our victory." What? A comeback? I just don't care anymore. Thus my sacrifice ended up being in vain.